Students, now we learn about physical and chemical changes. In the previous chapter, we have learned about a few physical properties of matter. Right, the properties that can be observed and specified like color, hardness, rigidity, fluidity, density, melting point, boiling point, etc. So these are all physical properties. Okay, now the interconversion of states, it is a physical change, right? So changing state from solid to liquid. Best example we can give ice melting, right? Ice melting into water. So and water is evaporating. So it is a physical change because so once even if it is changing the state, but there is no change in the chemical property, right? So if it is in ice cube only, the name is water. So if it is in liquid form, that is also water. Even if it is evaporated, that is also water. Here there is no change in the chemical property of water, only the state is changed. So the interconversions of states is a physical change because these changes occur without a change in composition and no change in a chemical nature of the substance. So although ice, water and water vapors all look different and display different physical properties, so they are chemically the same. So you can see some of the physical changes and chemical changes. Okay, crushing a can, that is a physical change. So melting of ice, boiling of water, so these are all breaking glass, so chopping a wood, so these are all physical changes. So even if they change this state, we can regain it. But look at some chemical changes. Iron rusting, okay, burning of wood, metabolism, cooking an egg, right? Once you cook the food or once you burn the wood, you cannot regain the property of that material, right? That is called as chemical change. So there should be the here in the rusting of iron, when iron came in contact with the air or water, so the rusting may happen, right? So rusting hagat. So here the chemical reaction has taken place, hence it is a chemical change. Here also burning of wood, when you burn the wood, it will combine with the oxygen, right? So that is also chemical change. So metabolism means so our daily life activities, physiological activities, respiration, digestion, excretion, so these are all metabolism which is taking place. That is all chemical reactions taking place. Cooking an egg, right? So ನಮ್ಮ ಹತ್ರ ಲಿಕ್ವಿಡ್ ಆಗಿರುವಂತ egg white ಎಲ್ಲ ಏನು when you put on a pan, it will become so a solid like structure, right? That is a chemical change. Here protein denaturation is taking place in the cooking of an egg. Okay, baking a cake, so electrolysis, so rotten bananas, so these are all the examples of chemical change. Once the reaction has taken place, it is difficult to get back the original substance. So these are the differences between a physical and chemical change. Hence, both water and cooking oil are liquid, but their chemical characteristics are different, right? So they differ in odor and in flammability. Okay, so inflammability means so when it come in contact with a fire, so they got fire very easily. So we know that oil burns in air, whereas water extinguish fire ಅಲ್ವಾ. ಸೊ ಈ ತರ ಆಯಿಲ್ ಕೆರೋಸಿನ್ ಆಗಿರ್ಬೋದು ಅಥವಾ ಪೆಟ್ರೋಲ್, ಸೊ ನಾವು ಅದಕ್ಕೆ ಬೆಂಕಿ ಹಚ್ಚಿದ ತಕ್ಷಣ ಹಚ್ಕೊಂಡ್ಬಿಡತ್ತೆ. ಬಟ್ ವೆನ್ ಯು ಸೊ ದಿಸ್ ವಾಟರ್ ಆಕ್ಟ್ಸ್ ಎಸ್ ಎ ಫೈರ್ ಎಕ್ಸ್ಟಿಂಗ್ವಿಷರ್, ರೈಟ್? ಬೋತ್ ಆರ್ ಡಿಫರೆಂಟ್. ಸೊ ಇಟ್ ಈಸ್ ದಿಸ್ chemical property of oil that makes it different from water. So burning is a chemical change. During this process, one substance react with another to undergo a change in chemical composition. Okay, so it is undergoing a chemical composition. Okay, chemical change brings change in the chemical properties of matter and we get new substance. But in the physical change, we are not getting any new substances, right? So when you melt ice, what you'll get? water. So when you evaporate or when you boil the water, so you'll get vapors, but we are not getting any new substance. So water only it is recycling, but in a chemical change we are getting a new substance. A chemical change, it is also called as chemical reaction. Okay, it is also called as chemical reaction. So there is one more question here. During burning of a candle, both physical and chemical changes are taking place. Can you distinguish these things? Yes, because so burning of candle means here wax acts as a physical change. Okay, so even if you burn the candle, the wax will again it is collected in the bottom of the any material or any plate or any floor like that. But here it is undergoing a chemical change. What is that? Flame, right? So the candle flame, it is a chemical change, and the wax of the candle, that is acts as a physical change. So this is about a chemical change and a physical change. And our next topic is, what are the types of pure substances? On the basis of their chemical composition, substances can be classified either as elements or compounds. Coming to these elements. Okay, Robert Boyle was the first scientist to use the term element in 1661, and Anton Laurent Lavoisier, so he was the French chemist, was the first to establish an experimentally useful definition of an element. The definition of an element is a basic form of matter that cannot be broken down into simpler substances by chemical reactions. Okay, it is the basic form of any matter that cannot be broken down into simple substances by chemical reactions. This is the definition for element given by this French chemist. So, elements can be normally divided into metals, non-metals and metalloids. Metals, usually some of the properties that we will see now. They have a luster property. Luster means shining. So for example, gold, silver, they will shine, no? So they have a luster property, that is shining. So they have a silvery gray or golden yellow color. Most of the metals, they have a silver or golden color. And you know that they conduct heat and electricity. Since they are metals, they will conduct heat and electricity. So they are ductile. Ductile means this can be drawn into thin wires. Okay, any metal can be drawn into thin wires. They are called as, this property is called as ductile. And next is, they are malleable. Malleable means they can be hammered into thin sheets. Any metal you can convert it into thin sheets. That is called as malleable. And they are sonorous. Sonorous means make a ringing sound when hit. Suppose when you hit a iron rod to any hard substance, you will get a sound, no? That is called as sonorous. And examples of metals are gold, silver, copper, iron, sodium, potassium, etc. So you know that this sodium and potassium are soft metals and remaining are hard metals. And mercury is the only metal that is liquid at room temperature. Okay, mercury is a heavy metal. It is the only metal that is liquid. Okay, it has all the properties of metals, but except this is liquid. Okay, so this is used in the thermometers. And non-metals have some of the properties, like they display a variety of colors. They do not have any such colors like gold or silver. They can exhibit or display a variety of colors. And they are poor conductors of heat and electricity. They will not conduct electricity. So next one is, they are not luster. Luster, sonorous and malleable means they are not shining. They won't give any sound when you hit it to hard surface, and you cannot convert them into thin sheets. Okay, examples of non-metals are hydrogen, oxygen, iodine, carbon exists in different forms, that is coal, coke, diamond, graphite, like that, and bromine, chlorine. So these are all examples of non-metals. Some metals have intermediate properties between those metals and non-metals, means so they have properties of both metals and non-metals. They are called as metalloids. Okay, so metal property nu irutte, non-metal property nu irutte, so they are called as metalloids. Examples are boron, silicon, germanium, and etc. So these are the examples for metalloids. Next is compounds. Compounds means a compound is a substance composed of two or more elements. Okay, so chemically combined with one another in a fixed proportion, they are called as compounds. Let's take an example for compound. Sodium chloride. Sodium is one metal and chlorine is another material, right? So when they chemically combine with one another in a fixed proportion, they are called as compound. Of course, it is a salt, so this is called as compound. Okay, a compound is a substance composed of two or more elements chemically combined with one another in a fixed proportion. They are called as compounds. I hope you have understood the topic. Thank you.